Gardens, just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town.
Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Introducing Jomo Kenyatta International Airport's new parking payment options. Through the automated parking system, you can now pay for parking in 3 stress-free ways. Using M-Pesa through the USSD code *486*12#, or using cash at the CAPS payment points located in the parkings, or using your preloaded CAPS A card. No payment will be done at the exits. Experience stress-free parking with Kenya Airports Authority. Kenya Airports Authority, setting our sights high.
It has been very difficult to maintain social distancing.
There will be a daily curfew.
Maskari waliwafanyia yale, tunataka kwanza wachukuliwe hatua.
Kama wananchi wetu wataona kwamba hawawezi kutegemea yale tunawaambia, basi tutafunga kabisa lockdown hiyo.
People are asking for a lockdown and they are unable to follow a curfew.
Dawa nzuri ya coronavirus ni kubaki nyumbani.
The equipments that the hospitals have been getting are substandard: gloves and face masks.
Hatujui hata siku namna gani ingekuwa kifo ya kawaida tu, harusi yake ya mwisho ingekuwa mzuri.
I want to stay until another disease to attack me, but not corona.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go. In line with government regulations against traders hiking the price of hand sanitizers, report any trader selling out of the below prices to 020-864-2330 or 020-864-2333.
Smiles are one of the most important things we have. In Kenya, 1 in 2 children still suffer from cavities. Pepsodent with maximum cavity protection repairs tiny holes before they become cavities. Because every smile matters.
Dad has not been feeling well for a long time. He has become so weak, we can't play together.
Why are you refusing to go to the hospital? I told you there is no way you'll know if it is TB or not if you do not go and get tested. If by any chance you find out that you have TB, you'll get the treatment for free from any hospital. All the tests are free. All the medications are free. Are you waiting to infect your family so that you can go to the hospital?
Don't wait till it's too late. TB is preventable, treatable and curable.
Wacha nikuchanue juu ya spring mattress za Dr. Mattress. Kama chef, kazi yangu anasimama mchana yote. Kuchoka nayo. Hii mattress imetengenezwa na technology ya pocket springs. Ukilalia zina fit na mwili yako, kukupatia perfect support. Bei nayo ni affordable. Ebu harakisha nunua yako.
This is NTV.
It's the last day of March, and definitely everyone would hope that starting tomorrow it would be an April Fool's Day, a true April Fool's Day. What the pandemic has done to the world currently claiming over 40,000 lives. But let's have a look at how it has visited our country.
Tonight,
we have received confirmation of 9 people who have tested positive for coronavirus disease.
Kenya now has 59 people who have tested positive for COVID-19 as a healthcare worker gets infected, sending jitters among colleagues.
We are ready and shall sacrifice, but we will not commit suicide.
Also tonight, blood, bruises, and tears. The police are the perpetrators.
Akaambia mama mimi nimeshutiwa. Mama akamwambia unakuanga na mchezo hujashutiwa. Akaambia kia Mungu nimeshutiwa. Mama kufungua hivi akaona mara ya mtoto.
Plus, a lockdown may be looming and concerns are being raised over the preparedness.
Do we have enough food to feed those people who will be staying at home? That becomes a big challenge.
And Rafael Dindi Mwananzeki passes on at 89 years old. Retired Catholic Archbishop celebrated as a loving servant leader.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
Good evening. I'm not alone tonight. David Agondo is our sign language interpreter. Actually, it's Flora Atieno, beg your pardon, is our sign language interpreter tonight. And we're backed by a full team with the very latest on the COVID-19. 18 days after the first case was reported here in Kenya. Now, the number of people so far who have tested positive for the coronavirus in the country is now at 59, after 9 people tested positive in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers is concerned that one of their own got infected while on duty. NTV's Sharon Baranga reports.
This is a health center in Ngara, Nairobi. Some people came snooping around after word went out that a health worker had tested positive for coronavirus. The clinic was evacuated and closed. Health workers play a critical role in the fight against coronavirus. Today, clinical officers confirmed that one of their own had actually tested positive to COVID-19. This is despite them always complaining that they did not have the right protective gear.
The clinical officer had been performing her duty in the outpatient and special clinic in her area of duty until she contracted this virus. You can all understand the anguish she is going through, knowing she may have infected her family member and other patients that she serves.
We are scaling up on acquisition of personal protective equipment for our health facilities countrywide. It is important for us to be aware that there is a global shortage of this personal protective equipment, and in this regard, the government is engaging with local manufacturers to be able to see how we can scale up our capacities.
And as the government scrambles to build capacity, the numbers of those infected is growing by the day. Today, 9 people tested positive, bringing the number of COVID-19 cases in the country to 59. The new cases are from Nairobi, Kilifi, Kiambu, and Mombasa counties.
Tracing of the contacts of the 59 confirmed cases is ongoing. So far, the total number of close contacts that we have so far been monitoring stands at 1,668. Out of this number, 508 have been discharged from contact follow-up process after completing the 14 days follow-up period. Currently, our teams are monitoring 1,160 close contacts of confirmed cases.
The government plans to convert some boarding schools into isolation centers in the event the coronavirus situation gets worse. Mbagathi Hospital is the main isolation center for patients who have tested positive. The government has also taken over Kenyatta University Hospital, and it's in the process of equipping it to boost capacity. Kenyans are urged to maintain high levels of hygiene as well as social distancing. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
We're now joined by Dr. Eunice Ndirangu, who is in Nairobi. She is a chairperson for the Nursing Council of Kenya, the regulatory authority for all cadres of nursing and midwifery, who is also the Dean of School of Nursing and Midwifery at the Aga Khan University. Thank you for joining us this evening and trust you're in good health. First of all, the story that has just aired, it has the statement by the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers raising the alarm over the state of health workers and also saying that they have reports of a nurse being the first person to be reported positive with the coronavirus. But the government didn't say anything to that particular issue. Anything from your perspective as the chairperson of the Nurses Council?
Thank you so much, Mark, for the opportunity. I think it's important to emphasize that every healthcare provider needs to be protected in these difficult times. Nurses and midwives in particular are your frontline workers, which essentially means they're likely in the course of providing care at any of the levels of care to meet a patient who's either exposed to corona or who's at risk of the disease. So providing personal protection equipment for the nurses and midwives, as well as ensuring that we create an environment that the nurses and midwives can provide care adequately is important. If you look at what's happened in Italy at the moment, the healthcare providers are bearing the brunt of the COVID infection. So in a country such as ours, where we already have few numbers of healthcare providers who are trained, few numbers of nurses and midwives to provide the care that is needed, we really need to invest a lot in protecting the providers so that they can ensure that they are well enough and they are healthy enough to provide the care that's needed to the general population.
Okay, Dr. Ndirangu, do you have any confirmations, especially on this alleged case today, that there's a nurse in Nairobi who has tested positive from the seat of the Nursing Council of Kenya?
At the moment, we will check on that to confirm if that's the case. However, what I would like to emphasize is that the government has been keen in ensuring that they're doing all they can to provide the PPEs for healthcare providers, including nurses.
Right. And from the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, they did have quite many demands and concerns about the state of those who are on the front line, that is the nurses and other health workers. And you have peers and people under your council who have come into interaction and direct touch with those who have been in the issue of coronavirus, COVID-19. What are the conditions they are working under?
I think if we look at the reality of the healthcare system in Kenya at the moment is that your typical nurse works under very difficult circumstances. Often we have some health facilities that are not properly equipped, but also we have very many patients. So your nurse-patient ratio is actually quite high. In that case, it means that one nurse is expected to provide care to very many patients. Right. In such an environment, usually it means that when you have an overworked nurse or midwife that's trying to provide care, such a huge client base, then it means that they are, in essence, finding themselves in very difficult circumstances. So this is further compounded when you bring in the COVID pandemic. This means that as we go forward and as the pandemic is likely to get worse, if we are to learn any lessons from places like Italy and China, then it means we have to really try as much as possible to go ahead and make sure that we are providing a safe working environment. Yes, Mark, in my view, to come to a point where a safe working environment really will not be negotiable. Nurses and midwives are committed to providing care, but they also want to feel safe and they also need to be protected from the infection.
In the line of equipping the nurses and other health workers, there's the issue of training. Is there adequate training currently given this situation, and can there be realistically adequate training for something that is said to be mutating?
Yes, indeed. Training is one of the key things that is needed, and not just training, but retraining. One of the things we are seeing with the COVID infection is that the evidence is also changing very fast. The epidemic is also spreading very fast. So training is a key component. There are efforts already by the Nursing Council to ensure that there is training provided online and that can be downloaded through the mobile app so that we can make sure that our nurses are getting as much training as possible. Can more be done? Yes, indeed. I think that's one of the areas that we'll need to keep working on, especially when it comes to keeping nurses and midwives updated with the government policies and guidelines and protocols, as well as WHO guidelines, policies, and protocols on COVID.
And how can the Mwananchi help you, the nurses, the healthcare workers, especially with this coronavirus pandemic, especially in the moment they want to report a case or respond to a suspected case?
I think, Mark, first and foremost to the Mwananchi is, please follow the guidelines as given by the government. The first thing to do is to make a call using the numbers provided. It is imperative that people avoid walking to the health facilities. Remember, as we've been told over time, the disease gets spread if we have contact person to person. So movement to the hospital, crowding at the hospital and other health facilities in itself increases the risk. The other encouragement and advice really I would give is for people to observe all the prevention measures that have been given across. Hand washing with soap and water, using an alcohol-based hand rub, ensuring that we maintain social distancing, and of course, being extremely honest about travel history and contact with potential individuals who might be infected.
Right.
By doing so, we will then ensure that we are reducing the burden that health facilities will face if they get more and more people coming in with positive COVID diagnosis.
Right. And in the particular case of the health workers, as you move forward, do you foresee, and the patterns and the trends are there, do you foresee those who have retired in the profession, nurses and other health workers, having to be recalled to come and give a hand? Because you've already spoken of the small numbers that you're working with as is.
Indeed, Mark, I think there's a minefield there of what can be done. We also have about 8,000 nurses and midwives who are not in any employment at the moment, and that's a good pool that could be drawn from. We also have about 4,000 nurses who are waiting to do their final exams. So these are already trained, they're already qualified, these are people who can be taken on. In addition to that, we have nurses who've just retired and very many people who are willing to volunteer to be able to provide care and services. So indeed, there's opportunities there for the government and other sectors, private and faith-based, to look into this pool of healthcare resource that is available among nurses and midwives who are either not employed or who've just finished and are able to provide the relevant care and support.
Dr. Eunice, we definitely need all hands on deck, especially facing this coronavirus pandemic. Thank you for your time this evening. Stay safe. And yes, we certainly hope the government equips the health workers as much as they can. And you've heard what you as the Mwananchi can do in support of the health workers in the front line fighting this coronavirus. And noteworthy to say, this is the year that has been set apart as by the WHO as the year of the nurses and midwives, and we honor them in what they're doing and what they're faced with, especially now. Speaking of what we are faced with, counties are currently not prepared for a lockdown. This is according to the Council of Governors Chairman, Wycliffe Oparanya, who says that if there must be one, it should only be effected on hotspot urban areas such as Nairobi and Mombasa, as doing it nationwide would be a challenge.
Do we have enough food to feed those people who will be staying at home? That becomes a big challenge. Can our economy support that? Those are some of the issues that we have to look at. You remember in India, they have tried this. People are rioting. They are coming out saying you cannot keep us in houses and you are not feeding us. It's not working. Even in South Africa, it's the same thing, especially for those who are very vulnerable, those who eat from day working and then they live hand to mouth on daily earnings that they get. That's what they eat on.
With that period of enforcing the curfew, and there are very many sad incidents to report on this, we'll give you some pictures of how the city, the CBD that is clearing out when we're taking a break. But this particular case is very, very sad. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Noordin Haji, has directed the National Police Service to investigate an incident in which police are said to have shot and killed a 13-year-old boy in Kiamaiko on Monday night. That Yasin Moyo is said to have been hit by a stray bullet while playing with his siblings and friends on the third-floor balcony of their house. Rose Wangoi has more.
13-year-old Yasin Moyo and his siblings had been drawn to the presence of police officers in their neighborhood 20 minutes after the curfew started and wanted to satisfy their curiosity. It turned out to be a tragic idea.
Huyu mtoto alikuwa ghorofa ya 3. Na hata mama aliona Saila alikuwa na mliko juu hii bunduki ni kama ilikuwa na sensa. Juu mama alikuwa na familia yangu yote. Walikuwa watu 6 hapo. Iko na lens. Sasa mama aliona hivi akifikiri ni tochi. Akaambia watoto, sasa mama akauliza, kwani nini tunamulikwa? Da kidogo mama akiambia watoto hebu kaeni chini. Huyu askari raundi ya pili kumulika aligonga huyo kijana. Ndio kijana akaanguka kwa balcony. Akaambia mama mimi nimeshutiwa. Mama akamwambia unakuanga na mchezo hujashutiwa. Akaambia kia Mungu nimeshutiwa. Mama kufungua hivi akaona mara ya mtoto. Ndio dadake mkubwa akaanza kulia wakipiga nduru.
He was rushed to Mama Lucy Hospital where he died from his injury on Tuesday morning. Yasin was a standard 8 candidate at Ndururu Primary School, and like other pupils, he was home after learning was stopped by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yasin was laid to rest at the Kariokor Muslim Cemetery in Nairobi today. His death has spurred calls for swift investigations into the murder and justice for the family.
Sasa hapa mimi naona hii Kenya, mchana ni corona, usiku ni risasi. Lakini hii operation inapangwa style mbaya na ni kama wizi. Juu askari wanaingia ni kama wanapiga nduru kwa kijiji. Watu wakiona, watu wanakimbia.
The Director of Public Prosecutions Nurdin Haji wants Inspector General of Police Hilary Mtiambai to thoroughly but urgently investigate the shooting. He asked the police boss to forward the file to his office once the investigators complete their work. Elsewhere, a bus conductor plying Route 110 from Nairobi to Kitengela is nursing a broken arm and hip dislocation after he was clobbered by police officers in Kitengela on Monday night.
Nikakuta askari wamejifisha nyuma ya maroli. Nimestukia kama nimengongwa nikaanguka chini. Akaningonga tena. Sasa hiyo amenjua ameniweza nikapelekwa kwa giza. Nilikuwa na pesa ngali. Walichukua 5,500.
Cases of police brutality have been witnessed in different parts of the country as the nationwide curfew took effect on Friday evening. Rozongoi, NTV.
And it's just not on the curfew matter, but enforcing largely other measures and directives by the state. The brutality police have been meting out on members of the public has brought many to their knees, broken and frustrated. Residents of Emuhoyo village in Bulanda in the county of Busia claim that police officers from Nambale police station raided their houses and beat them up on allegations that they run an illicit brew business. The residents claim that 2 students were injured in the attack. Here are the voices of the victims.
Sisi watu wa jamii. Na tena watoto, ni watu wa polisi kupiga namna hiyo. Wanasema ati wewe ndio mwenye boma umeita watu kutupiga. Hawa watoto wanaweza piga polisi. Polisi walitupiga karibu watu 3. Walinipiga karibu watu 7. Hii mgongo yote imevunjika. Tulikuwa na makosa gani? Wanaingia wanapasua vioo. Wanapasua nyumba. Nyumba ile nilihama ndani kijana wangu na mtoto ya ndugu yangu aliweka ndani kasi ya screen printing ya kuprint manguo. Walienda wamevunja hizo meza zote. Blodra ile wanakaushanga nayo, wameenda nayo. Ile laptop watu tunachorea hatu wameenda na laptop. Wakakuja simu yangu ilikuwa ina charge, wameenda nayo. Wananiuliza ati gari ni yako? Naambia gari ni yangu. Mtu anapiga windscreen anapasua. Gari ilikuwa na makosa gani?
Vile tulitoka tu hivi na mtoto wangu, sasa ndio hapo sasa walitumalizia, nikaanguka chini, wakanipiga kupiga kabisa, na mtoto wa miaka 12 walichapa ule mtoto mpaka kufunja mguu. Sasa vile sasa tulimaliza hivi, askari akasema tu we mama uko na bahati. Kwanza sasa hii tungekulala we kabisa. Nikasema askari kweli nimewakosea nini? Tumekosa nini kwa hii boma? Hatuna makosa. Ati nyinyi ndio mnajua kupiga maskari. Tumepiga maskari saa ngapi? Watu wache tu afadaliko ugonje ikuje tu itumalize, hii corona itumalize tu.
Vile tumekataa kufungua wakaweka tear gas. Tear gas watoto watoto wanalia, nikasema jameni mnatuana watoto. Hawasikii tena wanaongeza ingine. Ayo jameni watatuana watoto.
And NTV's efforts to get a comment from the Nambale police did not bear fruit. For you to hear Mwananchi say they would rather die from the coronavirus than face this, they're getting frustrated. And we're fighting coronavirus, not each other. And that's not where it ends. Anti-riot police in Kisumu lobbed tear gas canisters to disperse traders who had gathered at an open area they have christened Corona Market. The traders, who were recently locked out of Kibuye Market, engaged the police in running battles as they sought to sell their wares at the illegal market. Okokusa with the drama from the lakeside city.
Smoke at night, smoke during the day. This is how the situation has been in some parts of Kisumu as police engage defiant traders in running battles.
Ni tear gas kila mahali. Tear gas kila mahali. Ukijaribu kujitafuta kidogo ndio huyo wanakufukuza.
Soko leo ni mbaya, hata biashara haijaenda vizuri. Wangetuacha hata tufike saa 2 ama saa 3.
Last night at Kondele area, rowdy residents and anti-riot police were involved in cat and mouse games during the 7 p.m. curfew. This happened just a few hours after the Kisumu County Commissioner, Susan Waweru, issued a stern warning to those defying the curfew order.
Tafadhali tukifika jioni, tuende tu nyumbani. Tuende tu nyumbani. Kwa sababu kuna pia mambo ambayo yanaweza tendeka usiku.
A ban slapped on all open-air markets by the county government of Kisumu was also defied this morning. Hundreds of traders from Manyata, Nyawita, and Obunga attempted to sell their wares, but were dispersed by law enforcers. Several traders lost their goods during the early morning chaos. Okokusa, NTV, Kisumu.
Meanwhile, the Senate has formed a 7-member ad hoc committee to oversee the actions and measures taken by the national and county governments in combating the coronavirus pandemic. Senate Majority Leader Kipchumba Murkomen has called on the National Assembly to form a similar committee so they can have a joint sitting and take a common position on the pandemic. Vincent Odor reports.
The Senate Speaker Kenneth Makelo.
This Tuesday, Senate resumed its plenary sittings after a 2-week recess to debate a motion on a comprehensive national response to the COVID-19 crisis. Only 28 designated senators were allowed in the chamber so as to keep the social distancing rule. The House resolved to establish the ad hoc committee that will address a number of matters like provision of testing and medical equipment and isolation centers. Other issues include ICU facilities and measures needed to ensure continuous supply of food and other essential commodities at affordable prices. Senators are asking the national government to cushion Kenyans.
We congratulate the national government. We would like to encourage them to ensure that they keep the common mwananchi at heart, Mr. Speaker.
We need economic cushioning. Fuel prices must go down. World oil fuel has gone down by 40%. Palm prices have gone down by only 2 shillings. That needs to be looked at. I have a huge night economy in this city. DJs, waiters, bartenders, musicians, bouncers, taxi drivers, etc. need to be cushioned.
Mr. Speaker, only 3 counties have complied with isolation. Only 3. It's very sad. Only 3 counties in Kenya can do testing. Only. Certification can only be given to 3 counties: Kisumu, Machakos, and Mombasa. Why?
When you tell people to wash their hands, we must make sure that water is getting to where the populations are. In Kibera, in Madare, let us see the water and sanitizers, and also in the counties.
The senators also want to oversee resources allocated to fight COVID-19.
There are a lot of donors that are contributing money. Government is putting in a lot of money. And I think it's important for the committee to sit with the National Steering Committee and see how that money is allocated to the counties.
Senate also wants a joined-up response to COVID-19 by the 2 houses of Parliament.
It's not a moment for us to demonstrate supremacy battles. We have just initiated a process,
And we have said, Mr. Speaker, to our brothers in the National Assembly, so that we have one united, joint position on the issues that are affecting the people of Kenya.
National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale has written to the Speaker of the House requesting for special sittings on Wednesday next week. One of the agenda will be laying of COVID-19 emergency fund regulations. Vincent Odur, NTV, Nairobi.
It's 22 minutes past the hour. We take our first break here on NTV tonight. But as we do that, let's help you appreciate how clearing of the CBD is taking place with a time lapse captured here by our lead cameraman, Robert Gishira. This is the otherwise busy Tom Mboya Street. And over a period of about an hour, he just showed how the streets cleared out. Of course, getting closer to the curfew of 7 p.m. here in Nairobi. Just showing how effective it has become in Nairobi. Almost a ghost city when we drive out here after the bulletin.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there.
Selena!
It's great seeing you getting so much value for your money.
Well, it's important to save as much as you can.
You save everywhere. Except for here. This is where you're throwing money down the drain.
How?
On these cleaning products.
Impossible.
Harpic 10X. While other cleaners flow away, Harpic 10X's viscous formula in only one round of application gives you sparkling, clean toilet. Harpic, 10 times better cleaning than other cleaning products.
And great savings too.
To answer, Mary.
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because the tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
for maximum cavity protection.
And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Wow! Inakompresiwa na 50 tons of force, alafu ina roll pakiwa. Hii iliniashua itani last kuliko mattress zingine zote nimekuwa nikinunua.
Welcome to the conferencing service.
Emma, carry on, Ken.
First quarter sales, they are up 90%.
Very good, very good.
We are looking at a 55 billion shilling profit by the end of the financial year.
Now we are talking. Here we talk billions. Very good. I gotta go. Wacha niendelee na kazi.
A person has left the conference.
Niko nyumbani. Downloads are very fast. Streaming, eco. And I'm just working from here. Stay connected and work from the convenience of wherever you are. Fiber to the home.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down, and the proof's in the results. It works.
To the out-of-framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt, and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Join the millions that have switched to Dettol Even Tone, now also in pomegranate fragrance, a healthier skin for an even better you. Brought to you by the Kenya Consortium of Medical and Health Professionals. Dettol, be 100% sure.
The first time I held you, I fell in love with you, and I knew there was something great in you. I can't help but think of the legacy you will leave. I'm proud of who you've become. From mere ambitions to bigger challenges, from having that dream to actually living it, from moving out to settling your family in this dream home.
Every day, we endeavor to provide you with the best real estate solutions. Own your dream home at Victory Gardens, just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Are patient.
Atipasi yang kirota iko kwa krabi ya kirotas.
Bashkani kwa kirotas.
Sasa nimefungua hoteli hapa Kawangware na nilikuwa nataka ukuna ni supply vitu za soko. And then tunaongea biashara, unaona aje?
Nani alikufungulia biashara? Ni Krotas.
Mtu wangu unaona wewe na Einstein mnapelekana hivi. Nywele kuchanganyikiwa pap. Color clashing ndio hiyo. Wewe mmeweza
mama. Na kwa engineers.
NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
Welcome back. Manzoni Lodge in Machakos County has been closed indefinitely after it hosted hundreds of youth in breach of the government order on public gatherings as a move to contain the spread of COVID-19. Police say the more than 700 young people who were holding a meeting at the lodge will be screened and released. Nuru Abdulaziz reports.
This is the current situation at Manzoni Lodge in the county of Machakos. It played host to a meeting of more than 700 youth who are said to have checked in on Sunday and started their meeting on Monday. According to Machakos County Commissioner Esther Maina, who led police officers in raiding the facility, 2 people have been arrested in connection with the breach of government order on public gatherings.
Tukapata manager wa hii hoteli na tumempeleka ndani, amelala ndani pamoja na viongozi wa hiyo group ambayo ilikuwa hapa, na wamepewa bail na koti na watafikishwa kotini. Kwa sababu wale wamewekwa hapa ndani ni vijana wadogo sana, vijana kati ya umri ya miaka 20 na miaka 28. Nao vijana ni kutumiwa natumiwa vibaya.
The police force has decried what she terms as exploitation of the young people who are between 20 and 28 years old and are from informal settlements in Nairobi.
Nasikitika kuona kuwa kuna watu ambao hoteli bado wanakaidi amri ya serikali. Hakuna mkutano ambao tunaruhusu katika hii county, hakuna kongamano. Kama huna mahali pa kwenda, enda kaa kwa street. Lakini tunahakikisha kuwa kila mtu akae nyumbani.
The meeting not only went against the government's orders but also put lives and livelihoods at risk.
Tunaendelea na uchunguzi kujua hasa kwa nini walikuwa wameletwa hapa. Yeah, we are screening them, tukiscreen tunawarudisha mahali walitoka.
This incident brings to the fore the concern that has been raised about Kenyans disregarding the pandemic and how dangerous it is. Nuru Abdulaziz, NTV.
Well, even as the authorities there say that they're investigating why over 700 youth were at the Manzoni Lodge for that particular meeting, there has been a response from one of the clients of Manzoni Lodge, and they explained that Summer Source today announced the rollout of its work from home equivalent program, admitting 820 employees in different facilities in Machakos County in response to the work from home guidance issued by the Kenyan government and the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, they say that the County Ministry of Health, reading partly the statement, had given them a clean bill of health after inspecting the premises and the facility and saying that they had passed all health requirements, and that Summer Source, it delivers technology solutions and service to clients around the world. And it is, of course, in this particular effort, the 100% volunteer optional program is providing over 800 people with safe living conditions to help them combat the spread of COVID-19. And Summer Source is providing all meals, transport, and accommodation to employees free of charge. And they work there with a safe workspace. And they say the authorities were alerted, and that's a response from their end. The coast region continues to be on the government's radar for COVID-19 as the Ministry of Health confirms more cases from Mombasa and Kilifi counties. During an interview with NTV's Kevin Mutai, the Director General of the Kenya Coast Guard Services, Vincent Lonena, maintained that there is some orderliness, at the Likoni Channel as commuters increasingly adopt the social distancing rule. And Lonena also indicated that the law enforcement officers are, however, still grappling with the major challenge of dealing with people who are still disregarding the government's guidelines in the fight against the coronavirus. He also reiterated that ferry services will be withdrawn from 6:30 p.m. daily ahead of the dusk till dawn curfew.
What they call the social distance. We started the slow start initially. It was a bit of a challenge, but over time, the wananchi are getting the practice. They are getting into the sync with us on what we require, and it is working very well. There is a major improvement in terms of order in this place as compared to what used to happen some time back. And we want this to be the norm post-coronavirus.
The counties which have already reported confirmed cases of coronavirus will be prioritized during the distribution of public sanitizers to the devolved units. These include Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Kwale counties, which are increasingly emerging as COVID-19 hotspots since the first case was confirmed on 13th March. The initiative that was launched today will see Kenya Pipeline Company Limited produce 20,000 litres of sanitizers weekly for the 47 counties in a move aimed at improving hygiene standards to prevent further spread of the pandemic in the country. The consignments will, from tomorrow, Wednesday, 1st April 2020, be distributed by major corporations such as EABL and Coca-Cola.
Chairman, you should have told MD Kenya Pipeline that this is 80% alcohol, the highest standards you can get in the world.
Nairobi is the highest heat. So we expect half of this to go to Nairobi County. And of course, from those statistics, we are told that Mombasa is the next one, Kilifi, and then Kwale, and then Siaya. So those five will be given a priority. And apart from the five, there are also other 14 counties which were identified earlier as more risky.
Away from the coronavirus issue, messages of condolence are still coming in from leaders and faithful alike as, of course, the news was announced of the death of long-serving retired Catholic Archbishop Dindi Mwananzeki, who passed on at the age of 89. Dindi passed on at the Clergy House in Nairobi on Monday night, and he retired on October 6, 2007 after attaining the age of 75.
So now this is it. The Catholic fraternity is in mourning after the announcement of the death of His Grace Archbishop Emeritus Raphael Dindi Mwananzeki. A statement shared by the Archdiocese of Nairobi said Dindi Mwananzeki was taken ill at the clergy home where he was residing and was rushed to Mater Hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Dindi fell sick after retiring. He started experiencing gradual memory loss before the problem escalated. Since his appointment as Bishop of Machakos in 1969, the prelate remains one of the best-known church leaders in the nation. Dindi joined Kiserian Seminary after completing his primary school education. He was ordained as a priest in 1961 and served as an assistant priest in Makadara, Nairobi. He was ordained as a bishop in 1969 and served in that capacity in the Diocese of Machakos and Nakuru before being appointed as Archbishop of Nairobi in 1996 as an assistant to the then Cardinal Maurice Michael Otunga. He succeeded Cardinal Otunga on April 21, 1997 as the Archbishop of Nairobi. He was then succeeded by the current Cardinal John Jue, who was his assistant in Nakuru.
We need to get together, whether the church or the government, social, different groups, to find out what is it that we can do to make Kenya what it ought to be.
Outspoken and a household name in his heyday, Archbishop Mwananzeki was a fearless leader. At the height of his active life, Dindi was a leading voice on matters of democracy, continually pinpointing failures of leadership during the KANU regime. He was relentless, reminding Kenyans of the importance of participating in democratization through elections, lobbying, or civil activism. This bold image was reinforced in 1992 when Mwananzeki risked his life by supporting the victims of tribal clashes in the Rift Valley. There was a repeat of ethnic hatred in the country 5 years later. In August 2019, the retired Archbishop celebrated 50 years since his ordination. Following the announcement of the death of Mwananzeki, President Uhuru Kenyatta sent a message of condolences to the family, describing him as a loving and outstanding man of God whose servant leadership will be missed by Kenyans. ODM leader Raila Odinga said the retired Archbishop was one of the brightest lights to have graced the nation. Kenyans knew they could always count on him to stand and speak out for truth and justice, whatever the threat that posed to his life.
May soul rest in peace. We take another break here. Business News is up next.
Selena!
Toto, where's mommy?
Today's a toilet day.
What? Oh.
Selena!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow we're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
It's a toilet, not a white shirt. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with bleach and detergent, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible.
Challenge. Harpic 10X. Even if you use bleach and detergent 10 times, they won't give you the same sparkling clean toilet that Harpic 10X will give you.
Wow!
Harpic 10X. Harpic, Kenya's #1 toilet cleaner.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah.
Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Wacha nikupigie, nataka kupata store bonus. Hello, locust zimeenda. Na kuzeeka, wacha. Na zinapikwaje? 200% store bonus. Locust zinakulwaje bila chumvi na kilo moja mnauzaje? Kokoteni hezi beba. Kwa hivyo nikuja na pick up lini? Ongea na mama yuko hapa.
Tumemaliza story. Shika storo kibao na 200% storo bonus. Piga simu zaidi, tuma SMS au nunua bundles ufikishe target yako leo. Isitoshe, pata 50% extra airtime unapotop up na kupiga *544*2* amount hash. Safaricom, for you.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go. In line with government regulations against traders hiking the price of hand sanitizers, report any trader selling out of the below prices to 020-864-2330 or 020-864-2333.
Basic protective measures as guided by the World Health Organization. Clean hands frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Alpha Gated Homes Limited offers affordable 3-bedroom bungalows along Kangundo Road in a modern gated community only 300 meters from the main road. Tastefully designed and spacious. Master ensuite, open kitchen and a spacious lounge. Unit cost 4.5 million. Just deposit 1.8 million and the balance in flexible installments. Get value in rental income or multiply your money in real estate. Contact us on 0787 700 700 or 0729 041 411. Alpha Gated Homes Limited. Decent, affordable housing.
NTV Business News in association with KCB Internet Banking.
Let's do business. Workers in the tourism sector in the Mount Kenya region risk losing their jobs on a mass scale within weeks as hotels run out of business due to the biting effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Already major hotels in the region have started closing down, with hoteliers warning of mass job losses in coming days. NTV's Melita Oletenges has more.
Mount Kenya and the Aberdares are known to attract thousands of tourists every year for mountain tourism expeditions and wildlife tourism. However, tough times lie ahead due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Major hotels such as the White Rhino Hotel in Nyeri and the Narumoro River Lodge have announced temporary closure, with other hotels likely to join the growing list.
With the ban on international flights coming in and the situation as it is in our best interest and really in the interest of our people that we keep our borders closed until we have this virus under control.
The Mount Kenya chapter of the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers has added its voice, pointing to difficult times ahead as business thins out.
The truth is, at this point, we will all feel the pinch. All of us, we are going to have some short-term suffering because of this. And what we are now starting to ask ourselves, you see, life or economics really is like a marathon. So you could have different strategies to winning a marathon, you know.
Many hotels have bars and restaurants which have been hit hard by a directive from the Ministry of Health to close down all bars and for restaurants to operate strictly on takeaway basis. Hotels such as Outspan and Green Hills have drastically scaled down operations following the cancellations of bookings. The extent of the calamity facing the tourism and hospitality industry is prompting a rethink of the traditional business model of tourism.
So it's really a good time for us to, to read on and put our minds together and really explore what could be the next frontier for tourism. Does it have to be tourism as we've always known it?
Last year, 25,000 tourists visited Mount Kenya, and the numbers were expected to soar this year after the tropical glacier was ranked 40th among places to visit in 2020 by the New York Times. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
From the mountain to the coastal region, the situation is the same for the tourism industry, and the tough reality is that things are getting worse. Hotels are closing in the coast region, with thousands of employees being declared redundant. Cancellations from guests are piling up as airlines obey government guidelines to cease bringing in foreigners. Players in the hospitality industry now want the government to move fast to cushion the sector from total collapse. The foremost Pride Inn hotel establishment in the coast, which also hosts major conventions, has now temporarily closed down.
Tourism iko chini na inaendelea kwenda chini. Kutoka South Coast mpaka Lamu, mahoteli zinaumia, mahoteli zinafunga. Watu wanapelekwa kwa leave, both forced leave, both unpaid leave na both leave inaendelea na ni mbaya.
The National Treasury, meanwhile, has provided guidelines and regulations on how the COVID-19 Emergency Response Fund will be administered. It will be made up of a 12-member board, which includes a chair appointed by the President, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the Council of Governors Chair Wycliffe Oparanya, 8 members, and a secretary to the board appointed by the President. An administrator of the fund will oversee the disbursements and prepare quarterly financial and non-financial reports. The fund has been established to mobilize resources for emergency response towards containing the spread, effect, and impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The outbreak of COVID-19 cases across the world and the advent of community spread in Kenya has forced workers to stay at home courtesy of government directives. Companies are crafting, ways to keep going in the midst of the coronavirus storm. Gabriel Kudaka found out the measures that some companies in Eldoret are taking to tackle the effects of COVID-19.
It is an additional measure that Eldoret Grains Limited is taking to ensure the safety of its employees. In addition to washing hands, Eldoret Grains Limited has more than 600 workers, and the company, like many others, is feeling the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hatujapunguza mshahara wa mfanyikazi wala hatujakata idadi ya wafanyikazi, lakini tunaangalia mambo yanavyokwenda.
Eldoret Grains Limited, which is a milling company, is among the companies that are directly involved in food production, and as such, it is vital that it keeps operating. The situation is different in the hospitality industry, where the effects of COVID-19 are having huge negative consequences.
Kabla hawajatangaza mambo ya corona, tulikuwa hii nyumba kama unavyoona haungepata kiti, lakini after washatangaza hiyo mambo ya corona, watu wakaongopa kuingia kwa mahoteli. Pia imetufanya tupunguze wafanyikazi. Tumebaki na wafanyikazi kama 10 na tunakuanga kawaida na wafanyikazi zaidi ya 50.
So kitu tumeamua tukifanye ni kurotate hao wafanyikazi. Kila mtu at least anakuja siku 2 ndio apata hata naye ya kulisha wa familia.
We hope that we are going to be able to support them, since most of them actually just came to Eldoret to take up the jobs that we offered. So we can't really neglect them at this time. It's a very unfortunate situation but we have to stand with our staff.
With closures and layoffs becoming the order of the day, a government stimulus package designed to reach the struggling companies directly will go a long way to help mitigate the effects of COVID-19. The state of the government's financial health to cope with the coronavirus, however, remains in question. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
The government has moved to allay fears that the COVID-19 pandemic is pushing the country towards a food shortage. This comes amidst the growing challenge of the need for the national and county governments to collaborate so as to effectively tackle the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic that may strain the availability of food in certain households.
The national and county governments are working together to ensure that the agricultural sector continues its operations and that food is available, accessible, affordable, and safe for all Kenyan households. Currently, food supply is sufficient, and I urge Kenyans to resist panic buying, which will create an unwarranted shock in the market, pushing the cost of food up. We will also be closely monitoring the cost of food across the country and taking stern measures against traders who create artificial price inflation on food and agricultural inputs.
Business news in association with KCB Internet Banking.
We can always talk about your account online whenever you like.
Register at your nearest branch for KCB Internet Banking today.
And that's the state of business. Stay with us. A little more coming up after the break.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Niaje wa Kenya. Hii ni public service announcement kuhusu coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health advises all returnees from abroad to self-quarantine for at least 14 days, whether they feel well or unwell.
Wash your hands regularly following the 8 steps of hand washing. Wet hands with warm water, apply a small amount of soap, rub palms together, rub fingers and thumbs and the bits in between, rub nails on palms, rub the back of each hand, rinse with clean running water, and dry thoroughly with a clean dry towel.
Furthermore, it is advisable to cover your mouth and nose adequately when sneezing or coughing and immediately dispose of the tissue in a dustbin. Please do not use handkerchiefs if you can avoid it. If disposable tissue is unavailable, cough into your elbow. Try and avoid close contact with anyone showing signs of a respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing.
Before you share any coronavirus information on social media, please verify it with Ministry of Health to avoid panic and alarm among your fellow Kenyans.
Parenting is all about learning when to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Good morning, Janet.
Wow. And you are?
I'm Casey. Now help you with anything to do with your KCB bank account. Pay bills, transfers, statements.
You're hired.
I'm your internet banking security ninja. I'm your 24/7 personal assistant.
Super.
So, we can always talk about your account, online, whenever you like. Need a ride?
Let's go.
Alrighty. With you anywhere, anytime.
Register at your nearest branch for KCB Internet Banking today.
Alpha Gated Homes Limited offers affordable 3-bedroom bungalows along Kangundo Road in a modern gated community only 300 meters from the main road. Tastefully designed and spacious. Master ensuite, open kitchen and a spacious lounge. Unit cost 4.5 million. Just deposit 1.8 million and the balance in flexible installments. Get value in rental income or multiply your money in real estate. Contact us on 0787 700 700 or 0729 041 411. Alpha Gated Homes Limited. Decent, affordable housing.
Welcome back. Marsabit County says it has suspended revenue collection for small and medium-sized enterprises in the jurisdiction for the next 3 months, owing to the economic hardship occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Mohammed Ali said loan repayments owed to the county government will also be suspended. Further, as part of the measures to curb the spread of COVID-19, all county vehicles stand grounded, save for ambulances and water bowsers. The county leadership says it expects resources from various departments to be channeled towards COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Ali pointed out that the 2 patients who exhibited COVID-19 symptoms at Moyale recently have tested negative for the disease.
Our daily tax collections from small enterprises and the stalls are suspended for 3 months. Effective today. We further have agreed that the loan repayments for the county enterprise fund is suspended also for 3 months.
Meanwhile, here's someone you haven't heard from in a while or gotten news about for a while. The Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju expects to be back to work next week, of course, working from home, given the situation right now. Well, Tuju says he is making progress every passing day as he undergoes treatment. He was involved in an accident on February 12th, and thankfully, as you can see right now, he is taking some strolls around his compound. While on his way to Kabarak, this particular accident happened for former President Daniel Arap Moi's funeral. Tuju has also urged Kenyans to take seriously the dangers of COVID-19. At least some hopeful twist there in terms of his healing, and yes, we all need some hopeful news given what's happening right now. We get into the sports after the break.
The first time I held you, I fell in love with you, and I knew there was something great in you. I can't help but think of the legacy you will leave. I'm proud of who you've become. From mere ambitions to bigger challenges, from having that dream to actually living it, from moving out to settling your family in this dream home.
Every day, we endeavor to provide you with the best real estate solutions. Own your dream home at Victory Gardens, just 10 minutes drive from Kitengela town. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Indigestion and heartburn? Eno gets to work in 6 seconds and works on the 6 symptoms of heartburn so you can keep living life non-stop. Eno, fight heartburn and indigestion fast.
Molfix breathable surface developed with Airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Protect yourself against coronavirus by using Amara antibacterial hand sanitizer that will effectively clean your hands and eliminate disease-causing virus while you're on the go.
Usingoje hadi dakika ya mwisho. Pimwa kwenye hospitali ya serikali. Matibabu inapatikana bila malipo. TB inakinga na tiba.
Atipasia ngirota iko kwa gravia girotas.
Bashkali kwa krotas.
Sasa nimefungua hoteli hapa Kawangware na nilikuwa nataka ukuna ni supply vitu za soko. And then tunaongea biashara, unaona aje?
Nani alikufungulia biashara? Ni Krotas.
Mtu wangu unaona wewe na Einstein. Mnapelekana hivi. Nywele kuchanganyikiwa pa. Color clashing ndio hiyo. Wewe mmeweza ma. Kwa engineers.
And from the sports desk, Social distancing is one of the measures widely recommended as a way of containing the spread of the coronavirus. Globally, people are finding the new normal a challenge, and sports persons are also struggling to cope with social distancing and still staying fit. Our reporter Steve Kater spoke to some athletes who are training from home and shares their story.
Virus pandemic outbreak, Daniel Simiu had his eyes focused on the National Olympic trials. The 5,000 meters athlete had hopes of achieving his dream of representing the country on the world stage.
Since 2005, Kenya has never brought any gold in 5,000 meters, which I was sure, and I was sure to bring it.
Simiu was banking on his teammates to give him the necessary push in training, but the directive for athletes to train alone has led to new challenges.
They are afraid of each other, no chatting like before, no running together. If you hear someone even coughing, you run away because they are afraid of this disease.
In February, Faith Ogalo clinched a Taekwondo Olympic ticket at the African qualifiers held in Rabat, Morocco. But the Africa Games silver medalist has been forced to improvise her training since she cannot train in a camp.
Converted one of my rooms in my house for personal training. The sparring partners are not doing more of my sparring, so Taekwondo needs more sparring, but I'm doing it indoors, so more punching bags. I do solo trainings, like taking runs in the morning.
Despite the individual struggles, the athletes acknowledge the importance of social distancing and urge all Kenyans to stay safe.
God is with us all. God has not forgotten us. Let's take our heart to Him, and for sure, He will lift us high.
On Monday, 12 athletes were briefly arrested and released in Iten Elgeyo Marakwet County for training in a group, thus going against the government ban on social gatherings and sports activities.
It's an individual training ambapo hakuna distance ambayo imepeanwa kuwa lazima ukeep such distance. You have to go alone, and it means alone.
On a normal Tuesday, tens of athletes will have flocked here at the Moi University Annex grounds to do their speedwork training. But due to coronavirus, the place is deserted as athletes choose to train from home. Steve Keter, NTV Sports, Eldoret.
The International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has acknowledged that the postponement of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics to 2021 due to the coronavirus pandemic will pose a huge logistical challenge to global sports. The Olympics was the highest profile sporting casualty of the coronavirus that has wiped out fixed of the coronavirus. That is a stark message from Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, with over 786,000 infected and over 40, actually that numbers are now over 40,000 deaths. Large segments of the world are in lockdown. Amidst the coronavirus doom and gloom, Olympic marathon champion Eliud Kipchoge has spread good cheer, if you would say, or you call it that, after being featured in the April issue of the American magazine GQ. What has made heads turn is Kipchoge's poise in front of the camera as he models outfits from the world's top designers. Yes, that's one of them. Among them is the ankle-long camel coat by Christian Dior worth 650,000 shillings, tan leather pants by Gucci with a value of 520,000, and a suit worth $500,000 shillings. A shoot was done at the Global Sports Communication Camp in Kaptagat, Uasin Gishu County, with Kipchoge styled by Mobolaji Dawodu, a Nigerian-American fashion stylist. In addition to the pictures, the feature also delves into Kipchoge's training regime that has seen him break the world record and also be the first man to run a full marathon in under 2 hours during the Ineos Challenge. In the words of Iruna, our cameraman here in studio, highways. I would not be seen in some of those outfits. Be as it may, expensive as they are, and of course, world-renowned. Still on, Eliud Kipchoge, and the greatest marathoner of all time, has shared this message of hope and goodwill in this bleak times of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Eliud Kipchoge. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all my fellow Kenyans peace and safety during these difficult times as we fight the coronavirus pandemic. Please follow the instructions given by our President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and the Ministry of Health as we fight this pandemic. 1. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and running water, or use sanitizers where necessary. 2. Keep your environment clean. 3. Stay at home and avoid unnecessary movement. 4. Take the necessary precautions to keep yourself and your family safe. Lastly, to my fellow athletes, please train in isolation and take necessary precautions. We shall overcome this pandemic. May God bless you and God bless Kenya.
Words of advice and wisdom from the champ Kipchoge brings us to the end of NTV Tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Floratino for the sign language interpretation and the team behind this broadcast, and for you making it all the more worth it. Stay safe. Good night. I'm Mark.